All right, so today we are gonna do some heavy deadlifts and we're gonna test our 1 mile run. So I'm gonna hit a little bike, get a little dynamic warm up in. We're gonna do some heavy deadlifts, so work up to some heavy sets of 3. And then we're gonna test that 1 mile run on the assault runner. We got snow on the ground, so I'm gonna test it on the assault runner, but I do want to get back outside in the near future when it gets a little bit nicer outside and test it on the track, because my previous best was 5:56. That was at a track. Like I said, today I'll be doing it on the assault runner. So let's get warm. Let's get that mind right. Already got my figure iron pre-workout in the system. I am freaking itching. I'm buzzing. I'm ready to go. So let's hit some heavy deadlifts and let's retest that mile run. Really quick before we hop into it, currently sitting at 205 pounds right now. So that is a weight that I'm bulking currently. I'm going to be starting my prep for my half marathon coming soon. So with that prep, I'll be running more, currently running about 15-ish miles a week. So with that half marathon prep, mileage will increase, so that will facilitate some weight loss. But just to give you my stats, I'm 205-ish pounds. And I should have done an in-body scan just to see what my body fat percentage was. If I had to guess, I'm below 15%, just kind of a guess. Somewhere in that like 12 to 15 would be my guess. So also, I do want to mention real quick, the 2nd of February is going to be the 3-year mark of Fit Grind and this brand. So me and my wife opened our gym 3 years ago. We have expanded the gym, not only by adding pieces of equipment, but also starting a clothing line, starting a supplement line, and we're going to be doing a 3-year sale. So starting on Friday the 2nd, and I'll leave the dates on the screen here, we're going to be doing a 20% off site-wide sale on the apparel, the supplement line. So if you're looking to pick out a new gym outfit, or if you're looking to pick up some Fit Grind subs, go check it out. Like I said, the link will be in the comments in the description below, or you can head over to fitgrindformula.com. But this is just our way of saying thank you for the support over the last 3 years. And we're excited for the next 3 years to keep growing this brand, keep expanding, keep helping more people reach their fitness goals. And that's really the reason why we got into this, is to help people reach their goals. And that's what we've done the last 3 years in this business. And that's what we're going to do in the next 3 years and the next 3 years and so on and so forth. Very grateful for the last 4 years and very excited for the next 3. Let's hop do some deadlifts.
Over the edge, feel like I'm floating through the air.
All right, so we just finished up the warm-ups. We're gonna hop into our first working set. We're going to do 5, 5, 3, 3. We're gonna try to go 315, 365, 405, 455. If you're looking to improve your deadlift, the biggest thing that helps people change their deadlift and help them get stronger literally overnight is by focusing on taking your feet, pushing them as hard as you can on the ground, and acting like you're leg pressing the ground away. When you can frame your mindset around that and actually using your legs, your deadlift is gonna blow up, and you can literally put strength on your deadlift overnight. So focus on driving that ground away so you can actually pick the bar up with your legs. All right, nothing like a good old bloody nose in the middle of leg day. As much as I wish I could say it's because I got in a fight or something like that, it's just been super cold here in Nebraska. So during the winter, I get a lot of nosebleeds. So we're gonna try to get this clotted up as soon as possible. And then we got one more set to go at 455 for triple. So let's get it. All right, so just finished up those deadlifts. 455, not gonna lie, felt pretty heavy, but we got it done. So we're gonna get into some warm-ups for some running. Now, a lot of people ask me, if I'm gonna test my mile run, should I just go out and fresh and just run as fast as I can for a mile? The answer is no. I'm gonna do a voiceover while I'm doing my mile run to give you some tips on how to properly warm up so that you can set yourself up for successfully testing your mile run. Because what you don't wanna do is put on your shoes and just go run. You are gonna be sucking air. It's not gonna be a good experience. So I'm gonna tell you exactly what you need to do for your warm up to effectively test your 1 mile run and get a good, accurate 1 mile run test.
All right, so in order to warm up for a proper 1 mile run, you need to do a full dynamic warm-up. Now, I already had done deadlifts, and before deadlifts, I had done a full dynamic warm-up where I've done movements that have activated my core, got my hips open, got my legs loose, things like squats, lunges, single leg RDLs, these types of movements that are going to prime your legs and really get those muscles warmed up. And then also going into some running warm-ups too. So I started off with one 400-meter run just at a 8 to 9 minute pace. It's not super challenging, just getting your legs moving again. And then after that, take a minute or two rest. And then I went into a 200-meter run where I picked up that pace and I hit a 7 to 7:30 minute per mile pace. And then I did 2 100 sprints that you'll see here at more of a faster pace. We're pushing that below 6 and then that 5 minute per mile pace. Even got it down to below 5 in those 4s. That's just gonna, again, help prime your legs, kind of get your heart rate up a little bit because your heart rate's gonna be tested when you go into that mile run. So starting the timer here, go into my mile run, I'm gonna kind of go over a voiceover of what to expect, how to properly test, and how to interpret the data of a 1 mile run test. So my goal was to beat 5:56. That is my previous 1 mile run test. Now, when I had set that 5:56, I was at the very end of my half marathon prep where I was running probably 25, 30, almost 30 plus miles a week, and I was running 4 to 5 times a week. So currently I am running about 15 miles a week, and my primary goal is to gain weight, build muscle, build strength. At the time that I set that 5:56 mile time, I was also 185 pounds. I'm currently 205 pounds. I wish I would have done a full in-body scan to get my body fat percentage. I'll post that in the future, especially before we start our half marathon prep to document that. But like I said, I would guess that I'm somewhere between 12 and 13% body fat. So those are kind of my body composition stats of where I am right now. My goal was to beat this 5:56 pace, and when I started off hot. I was hitting like 5:20 or below paces, and I was amped. It felt good, and I got in a rhythm of that pace. Now, like I said, the last time that I had tested my mile run, it was at a track. This being on the assault runner, that was one thing that I was worried about going too hot too soon. That's just who I am. I go out hot in the beginning, and in this case, I did pay for it. Those first 2 miles, both of them were sub 130. So in order to get a 6-minute pace or better, your 400-meter laps need to be 130 or better, or the cumulative of all 4 need to average out to 130 or better. My first 2 were both below 130, and it wasn't until that really 3rd lap is where fatigue really started to settle in, and that's where my legs started to get heavy, and my lungs were definitely working. But that's the whole goal behind a 1 mile run test, is to test your ability to see how far you can push, how hard you can push, and when fatigue sets in, what is your body going to do? That's why when you're running, you want to blend a mixture of your more aerobic, slower runs and longer distances to improve that aerobic energy system and your aerobic base. But you also want to incorporate some higher intensity stuff. I do a lot of 400, 800 meter repeats. When I get into half marathon prep, we'll do 1200s and 1600 repeats and all sorts of stuff like that. Doing intervals on the treadmill. Getting your body used to those higher heart rates and getting your body used to continuing to put out effort when your blood lactate is starting to build up. So you can see here, I'm starting to struggle a little bit. I'm looking down my watch. I'm like, man, my paces are kind of creeping up a little bit. That 3rd lap is really where my legs started to get heavy. Now, if I was going to try and do a true 1 mile run test, like I said, I would do it outside on a track I would not do deadlifts beforehand. But like I said, you should always train for your specific goal. So right now, until I start my half marathon prep, my primary goal is to build strength, build lean muscle mass while minimizing body fat gain. So I knew that I needed to do my deadlifts beforehand, get that done, and then not do a full entire leg workout, but I needed to do that beforehand in order to get that done. You can see my legs are heavy here. I'm finishing up that last lap. At this point, I knew that I wasn't going to get sub 6, but I was just trying to stride it out and just hold that pace. My legs were definitely hurting, and I think this is just the product of starting off a little too hot. But also, I think, that my final time you'll see here in a second is an accurate time. I think being 20 pounds heavier and running less, you're just going to see some deconditioning of your previous record, where I was 185 pounds and I was also running 30 plus miles a week. Yes, I had more efficient of a cardiovascular system at that point, and I was 20 pounds lighter. So that's really the byproduct of this. But there's nothing that says that you can't run and still build muscle. And that's what I'm trying to challenge the concept of with my bulking and my building process, is showing you how you can train in a hybrid style by mixing lifting and running together, and you can get the best outcomes and you can see great progress still by doing so. You don't have to do the traditional bulk and gain a bunch of weight and then cut it down and go through these really big cycles. You can focus on training for strength, building muscle, improving your cardiovascular system at the same time to not only improve your overall body composition, but overall just improve your health. So coming down the home stretch here, my legs were hurting, but I tried to kick it back up below that 6-minute mile pace, just trying to pump those arms, finish strong, and we'll see here in a second my final time. Like I said, my previous best was 5:56. My previous best on the assault runner was 6:50 or 6:56. I'll have to look back at the records, but it was in those 6:50s. At that point, I was also not 185 pounds. I was 200 plus pounds at that point. So coming down the home stretch, trying to finish strong. When you're finishing that mile run, the first 2 laps are going to feel easy. You will be tested on that 3rd and that 4th lap, and that's why it's kind of a fun thing to go in and test your mile, because no matter how fit you are, it's always going to be hard. You can always get better. You can always improve, and I think that's why I love running as well. I'm traditionally more of a strength training person, where I come in and I love bodybuilding. I love lifting heavy weights and building muscle, but in the last year or so, I've really fallen in love with running, and it's really a great thing to get into because you always can get better and you can't quit, because if you quit and you stop running, you're just going to decondition, and I think that's why I love it so much. So finished up that run here. I tried to run over to the camera and show you as quick as I could. That way it didn't turn off, but we'll see here in a second my 1 mile run. Finished up at 11 miles an hour there, and then we'll see here in a second my full 1 mile run pace on the assault runner was 6:14. So we'll go over that here in a second. Obviously didn't hit a PR.
All right, so just finished up that 1 mile run. Overall, wasn't the best mile run, wasn't a PR by far. It is a PR on the assault runner. So the last time that I did the assault runner, I got like 6:50 or 6:54. I'll have to look back to the specific time. And then my previous 1 mile run PR was 5:56. So missed a little bit. Not gonna make any excuses. We just got some work to do. So I think that's a good set point to have going into this half marathon prep, starting here in just a week, just over a couple weeks, and just a good marker to kind of look back on and just track the progress. I'm going to be running a half marathon, another 7-mile race, and then I'm going to be running a full marathon this year. So I would like to see the progression, and this is a good marker to really track that progression. So overall, wasn't my best, but I gave my best effort and paced it the way that I thought that I could pace it to PR. Started off really hot, and it started to fizzle in that 3rd lap, where I was pacing pretty hard those first 2 laps. I was on pace for sub 6, but then that 3rd lap kind of zapped me. So overall, gave everything I had, and we'll live fight another day, come back and beat that next time. So like I said, guys, we are doing a full 20% off sale at fitgrindformula.com. So if you'd like to support my brand and the content that I'm producing, make sure you head over to figureoutformula.com. You can check out our whey protein powder that we just released a couple weeks ago. You can also check out our full men's and women's apparel line. Like I said, we're doing a full 20% off sale. The link will be in the comments in the description below if you'd like to support the brand. I'm gonna leave a video for you to go watch here next. Make sure you guys go check that out, and I'll see you guys in the next one.